Hey guys, what's going on? This is Teo Vanyo from teovanyo.com and socialstinger.com, and today I want to show you the 3 pillars to Facebook success. So whenever I create my Facebook ads, these 3 pillars are basically the 3 things that I look at to make sure that my ads are successful and that I'm going to make money with these advertising products, right? So essentially, the first pillar of success is your store. You need to make sure that you have a properly optimized store for your Facebook ads to work and for your whole e-commerce business to start making sales. The first thing you got to do is you got to make sure that your page, your product page is optimized, your actual store is optimized, and the traffic that you're sending to the store is optimized and ready to make sales. Okay, the second step, the second pillar to Facebook ad success is the actual product. Okay, you have to make sure that you've done enough research to find out that the product is actually going to sell on Facebook or if it's going to flop. Okay, about 95% of the products don't actually work on Facebook, so you have to make sure that you find those products that are actually working. Okay, now the third pillar to Facebook success is, of course, your Facebook ads. Once you have your store ready, you have your product ready, you have to make sure your ads are run properly and that it's doing really, really well in order for it to work to your favor. Okay, so I'm going to go over those 3 things today in this video. I'm going to go over essentially why you need to have an optimized store, the first part. The second part is why you need to have a really good product that works on Facebook, and the third part is essentially why you need to have your Facebook ads properly set up so that you can actually start selling these products and targeting the right people on Facebook. And then after this video, I actually have a list of questions that I'll go through and answer them right after this video. Okay, so the first part, very, very important that you have your store optimized. Now, I've created a whole hour-and-a-half video on YouTube that you can find, essentially showing you how I optimize a store, going from 0.5% conversion rates, 0.5%, that's 0.5% conversion rate, to up to 6%, 7% conversion rate. That's 12 times more sales using the same amount of traffic. Okay, so for example, if I'm sending 1,000 visitors and I'm paying $1 per click on Facebook, that means I've spent $1,000 on Facebook to send it to my shop, but only 0.5% have bought, versus if 6% were to buy. Okay, so if I had 1,000 visitors and I had 6% of people actually buying, that's 60 buyers. So if I sent 1,000 visitors to my store, essentially with 0.5% conversion rates, that'll mean that only 5 people have bought. Okay, if I sent 1,000 people to my store and I had a 6% conversion rate, that means 60 people have bought the product. Okay, 60 sales versus 5 sales. That's a huge difference with the same amount of traffic. Okay, so that's why it's very important for you to go out there and optimize your store first before you even send any traffic. Okay, in my video on YouTube, I've shown exactly how to do that. Go ahead and watch it. It's an hour-and-a-half long, but it's very good. And you're going to be able to increase your conversion rate, and you're going to work towards increasing the conversions on your store than trying to push all this traffic and not making any sales and trying to figure out, hey, why doesn't it work? Okay, why it's not working? The second factor, the second pillar to Facebook success is, of course, your Facebook product. You have to go out there, and I'm going to show you exactly how to go out there, find the perfect Facebook products, and essentially use those products on your own store, or even a similar product onto your own store, because you know it's going to work really, really well. Okay, and the last part is the Facebook ad, and essentially that's what I'm going to be talking about mainly in this video, is essentially the Facebook ad, how we do our Facebook ads, and what you can expect when you're first starting out your Facebook advertising and everything else like that. Okay, so I have a whiteboard here pulled up, and on this whiteboard I'm going to show you exactly how we create our Facebook ads and essentially the mentality that you want to get into when creating your Facebook ads. Okay, when it comes to Facebook advertising, it's very important that you're building up what's called this Facebook pixel. Okay, people are always saying, build up your list, build up your pixel. But Teo, how do I do this? What do I need to do? You know, how do I get my pixels up? So when you're creating your Facebook advertising, Facebook has this thing called a pixel, and that pixel you would add onto your store. And it's kind of like a little tracking pixel, right? It tracks how many website visitors go to your store. It tracks how many add to carts. It tracks how many checkouts. It tracks literally how many buyers you have on your store. And what you're looking to do with Facebook ads is you're actually looking to build that pixel. Okay, not a lot of people know this and understand this part, But when it comes to Facebook advertising, what we're doing is we're building out that pixel. Okay, in the very beginning, we don't have any buyers. We don't have the luxury of going out there and launching a product to 10,000 of our buyers and saying, hey, look at this other product that we have. Okay, it's of course a lot easier to sell a product to a list of 10,000 buyers, aka 10,000 pixels, than with a list of 0, because Facebook doesn't know who your buyers are. But if Facebook already knows who your buyers are, they're going to target and cater the ads exactly to those buyers, those specific people who pulled out the credit cards and put in their money and bought your products. Okay, so when it comes to Facebook ads, typically when you're starting, this is what you're going to expect. Your pixel size is going to be very small. Okay, so for example, here we have, let's say we call this 1 pixel. You have 1 pixel here, but after you start putting in more money into Facebook and learning the algorithms and growing out your pixels and getting more and more buyers, that pixel is going to grow. Okay, so what's going to happen is you're going to have, like, for example, you're going to have 100 pixels here. Okay, so you went from 1 to 100, and then you're going to grow your pixel again to another 100. You have another 100 right here. Okay, now you're going to grow it again. Now you're up to 300 pixels, right? This is your 300th pixel. Now you're going to keep growing your pixel. Now you're up to 400 buyers, and now you're up to 500. Okay, so now you have 500 pixels. So what this means is that Facebook has tracked all of the buyers that have purchased on your store. Okay, so for example, we have 100 buyers here. We have another 100. That's 200. We have 300 buyers here, 400 buyers, 500 buyers. The list goes on and on. But as you build up your pixels, your buyer pixels, basically Facebook tracks. You have this little code that you put on your Shopify store that will essentially track all of the buyers that went through your store from Facebook. And Facebook will know who your buyers are. And what they'll do with this pixel is that you can be able to go and optimize your pixel and create what's called lookalike audiences. But also, when you have a bigger pixel like this, Facebook knows who your buyers are. They're getting used to who your buyers are. And they're starting to send you all this great traffic versus all the junk traffic that won't make sense. Okay, I have another video on YouTube that explains exactly how to get those demographics of those people who buy. For example, people within ages of 45, 55, female, male, that buy certain products. Okay, so right after you get all these pixels, typically I've seen about 500 pixels, I can really find out, or even 100 to 500 pixels, anywhere between there, aka 100 to 500 buyers on Facebook. Once you get up here, you can find out exactly who your demographics are. So for example, you can find out that, after breaking it down, and on that video on YouTube I've shown you how to do that, after breaking it down you find out that your buyers are maybe 35 to 55 females, and they're basically living in Florida. Okay, but this is just an example. Okay, and you find out that all your buyers are coming from this, but the rest of the world, right? And then you have the rest of the world here, or the nation. Okay, the rest of the nation is outside, and basically 80% of your traffic is going to this particular target, 35 to 55 females living in Florida, just because Facebook now understands who your buyers are, who exactly your buyers are. And maybe they'll send 20% of the traffic here, right? But what you want to do is you want to get rid of this and send 100% of the traffic to this, because now you know who your buyers are, and now it's going to be a lot cheaper for you to go out there and advertise your products to women 35 to 55 living in Florida, exactly, right? Because now Facebook understands that, hey, these are where your buyers are at. Don't target anywhere else, because you're just going to spend money, waste money on these other places. If you're spending $1,000 and $200 goes somewhere else, you could be putting that $200 back into your 80%, making it 100%, and you're just sending all the traffic there. So that's essentially what happens when you're building the pixel. And when it comes to Facebook advertising, and when you're a beginner, okay, you have questions like, okay, I want to spend $1,000, but I want to make a $10,000 investment out of that, right? We get a lot of those questions, and typically this is what happens when you start spending money on Facebook ads. Okay, so when you start spending money on Facebook ads, this is what happens. So you start spending, your money spends, you go up, you go down, you start spending more, you start spending less, and then all of a sudden, this is where you're at right now. Okay, you're spending around the same amount of money on Facebook. But what will happen is, with your pixel, as it grows, okay, let's say for example this is where you hit your 500th pixel. Okay, so right here, you've hit your 500 pixel right here. Okay, you've hit 500 buyers essentially, 500 buyers. Okay, now what happens here is as time goes on, you're going to see inconsistent sales because Facebook is still trying to figure out what your pixels are, who your buyers are. They're still trying to figure this out. They don't know this data yet. This is why people spend thousands and thousands of dollars trying to figure out that data, because once they have that data, it's gold. It's literally gold. You can take that data, and if you know what you're doing, you can go and make lots of money on Facebook by using this data. And for every dollar you spend, you might make $4, $5. Even retargeting, you might make $10, right? Usually my retargeting ads are hitting $10 every dollar I spend. And once you have that data, that's the gold that you need to succeed on Facebook ads. So typically you're right here. And when I personally, when I first started a new store, I spent about $5,000 in the first 2 weeks just to find the data. Okay, I don't really care if it's profitable. The whole point of this is to just break even and then get the data so that I can scale and shoot to the moon. So what's going to happen is you're going to see something like this. You're going to go up and down, right? Your earnings are going to go up and down like this. You might have a good day and it's probably up, but then it goes back down. It goes up, and then maybe it goes up a little bit, and then it goes back down. And then it goes up again, back down, up, and then right after you hit the mark, let's say you hit like 100 buyers, right? Or 200 buyers, right around there. 500 buyers is like really, really optimal. Once you hit that mark, Facebook is going to start to say, okay, now I know exactly who this guy's buyers are. And then what's going to happen is you're going to start seeing sales like this, right? It's going to keep going up and up and up and up and up, and then you're going to be able to scale. So not really, that's just like an exaggeration, but really it's going to start doing that. You're going to see your ad spend is around the same, right? But your income is going up and up and up because Facebook is understanding who your buyers are. Okay, so let me pull up one of my ad accounts here. So for example, here we have one of these ad accounts. Okay, so as you can see here, this is $53,000 in ads spent and $224,000 in purchase conversions. Okay, if you want to see numbers like this, if you want to see, $16,000 we spent on this particular campaign here, and purchase conversion $75,000. If you want to see these type of numbers, okay, you can't expect to just automatically get those numbers. Okay, like I mentioned before, you're gonna see something like this in the beginning. You're gonna see a lot of up and downs and a lot of inconsistencies, just because Facebook does not understand who your buyers are right now. If you had the data, basically who your buyers are right now, if you had a buyers list, you plug it into a custom audience, it's gonna work really, really well. But you don't have that yet, right? So you're building that part. You're establishing that part in your business. Like Rome wasn't built in a day. The same thing with Facebook ads. It's not going to be built in a day. You have to keep building that buyers list. And right around here, from my experience, right, you can spend from 3K to even 5K just to get the buyers list. Okay, and this is in US dollars. You can spend up to $3,000 to $5,000 just to get that little bit of inconsistency. Sometimes we'll get lucky and we'll find winners right away that'll do really, really well. But for the most part, it's going to be a lot of inconsistencies on Facebook just because we're trying to find that data. We're building up to that data. Okay, a lot of times what we do is we build up pixels for weeks and weeks. We probably build up for 2 weeks. Once we get the pixels, we understand where the buyers are coming from. Of course, we're going to make some sales here and there. And of course, on the winner products, we're going to make a lot of sales. But those winner products that we make a lot of sales, within 2 weeks, we already know they're winners, and then we can scale them up. Okay, but as you go on, you're going to find out that the bigger your budgets are on Facebook, the easier it is for you to find a winner on Facebook. Okay, it's a lot easier for you to go out there and find the winner on Facebook once you have a bigger budget that you can play around with, get the data real quick, and scale it to the moon. And essentially, I'll show you what happens when you scale. Okay, you're going to be able to see stuff like this, like $13,000 ad spend for $48,000. Conversion, $6,000 for $32,000, $2,000 for $15,000, $1,000, $1,200, $200 for $5,000, $1,500 for $6,000. Here's another one, $5,000 for $20,000. Right? Once you start getting those numbers, of course, I didn't start making, every $1 I made $5. I didn't start doing that. It took time. It took a lot of time. The $5,000 made was probably at the end of that campaign right there. So for example, 80% of the campaign, almost $800 was just going towards testing and then the rest of it was just scaling up the ads. And that's typically what's going to happen on Facebook And that's typically what a lot of our clients, they don't understand that it takes time, and this is where it takes the time, is building up that pixel. The faster you're able to build up that pixel, the faster you're going to be able to grow your Facebook ads and scale it up to the moon. Okay, it's very easy for you to go from $100 days to $1,000 days very, very quickly once you have the data. Okay, it's just building up to that $100 day until you can build up to that $1,000 day. Within even a few days, you can do that once you scale it out. And I'm going to show you exactly what we do on our Facebook ads campaign and how we started. So typically what we do is we start with 10 different campaigns, 10 different ad sets, sorry. So we start with one campaign, okay? We start with one campaign and 10 ad sets. And within these 10 ad sets, what we do is we find 10 different interest groups. Sometimes there's many different ways of doing this, but what happens is when you're doing it this way, you're able to find out which interests are working best. And then once you do that, you can scale out those interests, you can increase the budgets, and then you can go out there and you can bundle a lot of these interests yourselves. There's many different ways to do this. I'm not saying that one way is right, another way is right. There's so many different ways. But this is the easiest way for us to find out which interests are working. Okay, so for example, if we're selling a product like a jewelry product, we're not going to just sell to just people who like jewelry. We're going to go out there and target different angles as well. Maybe people who like dogs might like this product. Maybe people who are patriotic might like this product. Maybe people who like music might like this product, etc., etc. Maybe people who like sports might like this product. So we test out different angles, especially if it's like a broader jewelry. Then of course we're going to test out different angles. But if you're selling something like a firefighter jewelry, you're not going to go out there and you're not going to test out random niches, right? Because that's really, really niche specific. But if it's more of a general product that essentially everyone can buy, then you can test out different niches and different interests and things like that. So we have here our 10 different interests, okay? And so what happens is we set these interests at $3 a day. So now we're spending $30 a day, okay? So $30 a day for 10 ad sets. And then on top of that, and what we do is we do what's called a website conversion. So these are all website conversion ad sets. Basically the goal there is meant for purchases. So this is what we do. We do website conversion, and then we do one PPE ad. And depending on your budget, when you're starting off small, this right here is meant for a smaller budget. Like let's say you're spending $1,000 a month. This is meant for a smaller budget. So we do one PPE ad at $5 a day. Okay, so what happens here is we're totally spend is $35 per day. And we're going to spend that money for up to 4 to 7 days. Okay, and 4 to 7 days is basically enough data for Facebook to tell us if it's a good interest or even if it's a good product. Okay, now I'm going to go into later on how to find the product, how to find the winning product. But let's just go over this really quickly. Okay, so 10 ad sets and one PPE ad equals $35 per day on a new account, and this is what I call a budget account. Basically an account that you're not spending like $2,000 or $5,000 in 2 weeks, right? You're spending a little less than that. You're spending $35 a day. So what you do is you spend it for 4 to 7 days, and you find out which interests are working. Okay, so for example, if this interest is not working, I shut it off. This one doesn't work, I shut it off. This one doesn't work, I shut it off. This one works, I keep it on. Doesn't work, doesn't work, doesn't work, keep it on, doesn't work, keep it on, right? So typically what you'll find is about 5 to 10% don't work. Okay, so let's say 5 to 10%. Okay, now we're actually at 20% here. Okay, so we have 2 ad sets that are actually working. Of course, as time goes on, you want to keep continually creating more ad sets, creating more angles, especially if you know the product works. If you don't know how the product works, I'll show you that in a bit after we go over this. Okay, so what happens is we found out that 10 interests, out of 10 interests, only 2 of them actually work. Number 7 and number 3. Right? Let's say number 7 goes on and generates 3 sales, and number 3 generated only 1 add to cart. But we still have that add to cart. Okay. Typically, what I do is if it's past $30 or $40, and there's only 1 add to cart and no sales, I'll shut off the ad. So if this one, based on my judgment, if it's like 1 add to cart and it's like maybe at $20, I'll let it run for a little bit more. just to see if there's actually going to be any sales, because you'd be surprised sometimes. Sometimes all of a sudden, out of the blue, all these sales start coming out, right? So you want to test it out first. Once you hit that number, $34, it doesn't make any sales, I just shut it off, and then I keep this one. Okay, so number 7 generated 3 sales, and maybe out of these 3 sales, we spent a total of maybe $60, right? But here's the thing, it's still good, as long as we're optimizing this ad. Okay, now we found out that this interest actually made some sales. And these sales probably total up maybe $90 in conversions, right? If you have a $30, basically a $30 average order value. So these 3 sales ended up in $90, and what happens here is I'm going to scale this one interest. I'm going to do various budgets. I'm going to go to test it out, especially if it's a broad interest and you can go out different budgets. I'm going to test out a $5 campaign. I'm going to test out a $10. I'm going to do 15. I'm going to do 20, and I'm going to do 25, and then depending on your budget, however much you can spend, based on what you're comfortable with, just go out there and spend it. And so sometimes what will happen here is with the budgets, I'll find out that one of the budgets work a lot better than the others. Just because what's happening here is that Facebook is essentially competing with these ads. Every single one of these ads, they're competing with each other. So what's going to happen is they're going to get different results. Right? So for example, the $5 ad might yield maybe another 3 sales. The $10 ad might yield 1 sale. The $15 ad might yield 5 sales. Okay, the $20 ad might yield 3, and the 25 might yield 15. Okay, you'll know exactly who the winners are, right? Obviously, the $10 ad is not making you any money because you're spending $10 for a customer. The $20 ad, you might want to test it out, but if it's not making you any money, delete it, right? The $5 ad, if it's still making you 3 sales per customer, you want to look at what's called the CPA, the cost per acquisition, and it's going to show up like right around here. Okay, cost per purchase. It's costing us $7 to get a customer for this particular campaign. That's what you want to look for. You want to look for that number, and the lower the number is, of course, the better. Because if it's costing you $1 to get a customer, then run that sucker all day long, right? But if it's costing you like $20 to get a customer, you're going to want to shut it off. So for example, we have here 25 customers at $15 sales. You know this is a winner. You're gonna keep this, and you're gonna scale it. You're gonna go from $25 ad budgets to another $50 ad budgets. You see this one's doing well, so you scale it. You see this one's doing well, so you scale that as well. And typically, what I would recommend is you scale your actual ad sets by 20%. Increase budget within 48 hours, 24 to 48 hours. Okay, because what's going to happen is if you do more than that, I've actually talked to a Facebook rep about this. Facebook will their algorithm will actually reset. Okay, you don't want the algorithm to reset, especially after you've worked all that 7 days, right? You have 7 days of data from here, and you find out that this is working really well. Once you reset that algorithm, it goes back to 0, so you're going to have to start fresh. So you want to keep up that algorithm. Keep up that flow of Facebook saying, okay, I know who the buyers are, I'm going to keep sending them these buyers. Okay, so that's essentially what you want to do. You want to increase it by 20% maximum. You don't want to go over anything over than that, because anything over than that will reset. Facebook's algorithm will just reset, and everything that you've done, all that hard work you've done, will reset. So very, very important. Every 40 hours, if you want to increase the budgets, increase it by 20%. So for example, if you had a $10 budget, you would increase it by $2, 20%, within 48 hours, 24 to 48 hours. Okay, but in this case right here, we're just duplicating this ad set. So we're just duplicating this particular ad set here, the one that we have, and we duplicate it to $5, a $10, $15, $20, and $25 ad budget. And that's using the same interest, the same demographics, everything. Of course, if you want to scale, if you want to narrow it down, like I mentioned to you before in the demographics, you can also do that as well. But as you can see here, I mean, this is essentially what we do when we first start up our Facebook ads. And this is very, very important when you start your Facebook ads, that you're doing a lot of testing. And that's what we do. We do a lot of extensive testing, a lot of laborious work, and we manage them, and we basically look at the ads on a daily basis to make sure, and to basically babysit all these ads to make sure that they're doing their job. They're running fine, and we're scaling out the good ads, the good ad sets. Okay. Now, going back to the product. Okay, this is also important because if your product is not working on Facebook, it's not going to work on Facebook ads, right? If it doesn't work on Facebook ads, you're not going to make any money, no matter how much money you spend on it, no matter how much traffic you put into it. If your product sucks, simply sucks, it's not going to work. Okay, so here's how we find out if a product is actually doing really good. Okay, so on Facebook, what you can do is you can type in a keyword. Facebook has this algorithm here, right? What you can do is you can type in, for example, I need this, I want this, order yours today, and there's a whole bunch of them. And then you type in your keyword here. So for example, I typed in jewelry. So when we go here, you're gonna have two options. You're gonna see the top posts, and you can click on posts. A long time ago, it used to be called latest, but I think Facebook just changed that just recently. So what you're going to do is you're going to find a lot of these jewelry that people are sharing, where they're saying, okay, I need this, and they're sharing a post. Okay, so for example, we're going to find one that we can actually use. Okay, and I'm going to show you why in a second here. So let's find an actual jewelry. Okay, let's type in necklace instead. It's more specific. So let's go, I need this necklace. Okay, and what's going to happen is the results are going to show, okay, perfect. So this is what's going to happen. You're going to have someone's name shared a particular page's photo. Okay, so when you click on this photo, you're going to be able to get the data and essentially research the data. And this is what we do as well. We do extensive research on Facebook to find out what's working, what's hot. So that's why in Social Stinger, when we say we're going to add the hottest products, we go out there and we literally search for the hottest products to add onto the stores. Okay, so we found here, wow, actually this is a great winner, right? So we see this product here, this person shared this person's photo, and because that person, I put in quote, I need this, specifically Facebook will go out there and search for people that typed in on their Facebook wall, I need this. Okay, so for this person here, typed in, I need this necklace, and then we have the keyword here, necklace, right? And when we open this up, look at what happened here. 204,000 likes, 57,000 shares, and we have the product right here. Okay, so what happens here is you can find a similar product like this on AliExpress, and because you did the research already, you already went out there and you did the research, and you found out that over 204,000 Facebook users and over 57,000 people sharing this product, you know that this is a winner. If you were to go out there and promote this product on your store, you can probably inherit a lot of those characteristics on this particular ad onto your store as well. You're going to know that people are going to like this, people are going to share this, you're going to know that people are going to comment on this. And what you do is you look at the comments here. You look at basically people who want to buy this. Okay, so for example, where can I buy this, right? Does this come in gold? How do I order, right? People actually want this product. So now you know that the product works. Okay, now you can go out there and you can create these ads. You can go out there and say, okay, now I'm going to create 10 ad sets. I'm going to go and find a similar product or even the same exact product. I'm going to go out there, put this on my store. I'm going to go create 10 ad sets, and I'm going to create one PPE ad. Oh, sorry, I didn't mention what the PPE ad first, but I will in a second. You create that 10 ad sets and find those interests. You create that PPE ad. You run the campaign, and you know you're going to inherit a lot of what this product is doing right now. All these shares, all these likes, you're going to inherit similar of those features, right? So that's exactly how we find the hottest products. Now, let's take a look at some more products here, okay, just to show an example. Okay, this person shared this page's video. Video or photo, doesn't matter, as long as they're sharing something. Here's another one. We can find the data on that. Okay, here's another one right here. And as you can see, these are all the things that people are sharing. Okay, here's another one, photo. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these products here on Facebook. All right, so we have here a video. Videos work great. Okay, so let's take a look here. Wow, 22 million views. You know this person spent some advertising dollars to get this, right? 172,000 likes, 66,000 shares, and we'll take a look at the actual website. You can see the website here. They're sending it to the catalog. It means that you can also increase average order value by having people take a look at all your products versus just one product, right? But this is a technique that you can use to find the hottest selling products out there and to really literally just like spy on what other people are doing, right? Here's another one, 51,000 likes, and then you can see the actual product on the page. Here's another one, okay, 49 likes, 1 share. Now we look at the date, March 13th. Okay, that's about 10 days ago. Now, for 10 days, 49 likes and only one share, I would not really say that this is a winner, nor would I know that if it's actually a really good product, because I don't know if it's a good product. I wouldn't go out there and I wouldn't risk myself spending money on this because I don't know if it's a winner. Okay, it's really risky because I'm saying to myself, hey, there's only 49 likes and one share. Would I go out there and promote this product? No, right? Versus something like, would I go out there and promote this product that has 172,000 likes and 66,000 shares, and all these people are going raving and going crazy about this product, posting pictures and everything? Yes, I would definitely do this product versus something like this, which does not have a lot of likes and shares. So when it comes to Facebook, one of those three pillars, like I mentioned, Facebook product, do not fall in love with the product just because you think it's going to sell on Facebook. Facebook's going to tell you very quickly if it's going to sell or not. And you can actually do the research yourself and find out if it's going to sell. Here's another one right here, 92,000 likes, 19,000 shares. You know this is going to sell, right? Here's another one right here. Let's pull it up. 126,000 likes, 28,000 shares. You know this is going to sell. So those are the products that I would go out there and do the research and find out if it's going to sell or not and start doing these ads. Okay, so going back to PPE. PPE means page post engagement. So if you're going out there, you're creating these ads, what I would do is I would group up all these interests here and put them in one page post engagement ad. So you're going to create a different campaign. Sorry, it's actually two campaigns, not one campaign. One campaign for this and another campaign for PPE. And that PPE campaign is mainly meant to get people to like, share, and comment on your Facebook post. Okay, so you would create a post on your Facebook fan page. You would run a PPE ad to it, and then you would run these 10 ad sets. And essentially, that's how it works. That's how you get. That's how we personally start our Facebook ad campaigns. We find out if it's a winner first. We do our research on Facebook. We find out if it's a winner. If it's a winner, great. We'll put it into the store. We'll start doing some ads. We'll start running the ads, and it does take time. It does take like 4 to 7 days, and you're spending $35 a day just to find that data. Okay, and as I mentioned, your ad account is going to do something like this. You're going to spend, and then you come to the point where you actually, once you start getting enough buyers, let's say you get 100 buyers right here, Facebook's going to understand where your buyers are exactly. Okay, so for example, this is your spending right here, and let's say if I can actually change the colors here. No, I can't. Oh, I can. Okay, so this is your spending here. And let's say this is your earnings. Okay, your earnings are going like this, right? It's going up and down. It's really inconsistent, going up and down. Maybe you have a good day, maybe you have a really bad day, and all of a sudden, once Facebook understands who your buyers are, they're going to start understanding your ads a little bit better. Now they're going to start saying, okay, I know who this guy's buyers are. Okay, and it's going to start doing this, right? Then you might have a really bad day one day, but then it's going to go back up, right? And then it just works that way. This is how Facebook works. You have to season your pixel. Okay, I can't stress that enough. You have to really season your pixel in order for your Facebook ads to work. And you know, people out there, they come to us and they say, okay, I want to spend $1,000 with you guys, but I have no pixels, I have no buyers, but I want to spend $1,000 and I'm going to make $10,000, right? That's not going to work because you don't have any pixels and you don't have any buyers. And I mean, unless we're really, really lucky, that might work. But here's the thing as well. For every dollar that you're spending when you're a beginner, you're going to generate, if you have a winner, and I'm saying if you have a winner, like you have that winner right here, right? If you have that winner, you're going to be able to, for every $1 you spend, you're going to be able to make at least $2 to $3 to even $4 to even $5 back. But if you don't have a winner, we're going to spend a lot of money trying to find that winner, right? But once we find that winner, like I mentioned, it's very easy from going from $100 a day to $1,000 a day within a few days by just scaling the budgets and scaling the ads. Because once you have that winner, once you find out the products that are winning and the targeting that's winning, once you have the targeting down, it's very easy to do that. Okay, like I mentioned, 80% of your traffic, 80% of your ad spend is going to be going towards finding out your buyer's audience, your buyer's data. Once you have that data, the 20% of your ad spend is probably going to be just scaling it up, right? It's going to be most of your income is going to be from that 20% of the data that you have, which you can scale it out and make lots of money. So you can take a $5 ad, and you know if it's working, you scale it to $50. You know $50 is working, you scale it out to $100. You know $100 is working. And after all that time spent just to get the data, the rest of the time spent, that 20% time spent, will just be scaling the ads. And then you can go from $100 days to $200 days to $300 days to a few $1,000 days. And that's going to be very easy once you have the data. But that's what you have to understand first, is you have to get the data. Okay, that's very, very important. Once you have the data, you can start seeing numbers like this, right? You can start going from $16,000 spent to $75,000 conversions. Once you start getting the data, you can start pulling in numbers like this. But of course, you want to pay very close attention to your ad sets. Pay very close attention to what you're spending on. Turn off the ones that are not working, and keep the ones that are working, and just scale them out. Alright, now, very important, guys, the 3 pillars of Facebook ad success. Number 1, you got to have a properly optimized store. Okay, if you send traffic to a store and it's not optimized, and you're not gonna make any money. Okay, because if people are not converting on your store, they're not trusting your store. They're going to this really sketchy store that looks like it was built overnight, right? They're not going to trust you. So you have to optimize your store. I've mentioned on YouTube, you can find the video there, how to optimize a store and how to take it from where we had a store, take it from 0.5% to 6% conversion rates, and that ultimately made us all the money back, right, by just doing that. Number 2, find the right products. Go on Facebook, find the right products that you can promote on Facebook. Very, very important that you do that, or find similar products to that product. You're not always going to find the same product. You can find a similar product, use the same, a similar audience interest, and they'll most likely buy that product as well. But you have to test it out. Okay, number 3, your Facebook ads. For Facebook ad success, you have to understand that in the beginning it's going to take time. It's going to take a lot of time just to get that data, just to get this part right here. It's going to take a lot of time, but once you get up there, you can scale to the moon after you have the data, after Facebook understands who your buyers are. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys got a lot of value out of this. If you have any questions, send us an email, sales@socialstinger.com. My email is teo@socialstinger.com. Send us an email, or you can email rocky@socialstinger.com. We'll gladly help you out. Alright guys, we have some questions from some of our clients and those people that emailed us. Okay, so here are some questions that we'll go over right now. Question number 1, how fast can I make my money back? That's a very good question, because typically when you're doing Facebook ads, you want to find out, you want to know, hey, how fast can I make my money back? That all depends on how fast you can find your winners. Okay, typically when you go into Facebook ads, like I showed you, it's going to take you a while to actually get those winners. But now that you have those winners, let's say for every $100 you spend, you're making $400, $500 back. Once you get to that point, okay, you can start spending $1,000 a day, and well, not that fast, but you're going to eventually scale it out. But eventually, when you scale it out to $1,000 a day, you're going to make $4,000 to $5,000, even $6,000 per day. So you can even make your money back and more once you find those winners. Okay, depending on how fast can we find those winners. Typically within 4 to 7 days, we're going to find out if a product is working. If it doesn't work, we're going to replace it with another product, or we're going to replace the interest. If we know the product is working, just like I showed you on the product research, we're going to find out if the product's working. If it does, then we're going to find certain interest that works even better. Next question. Okay, how can I find products that are winning and will work? Okay, so like I showed you in the previous slides, okay, in the previous video, essentially what's going to happen is you're going to find products that are winning on Facebook and products that simply suck, that don't do anything and are really, really bad. Okay, so you want to avoid those products and find those products that are winning, and essentially use those products to advertise on Facebook or similar products like that. And you'll find out what the market wants very, very quickly. Okay, how much do I spend per day? Okay, spending per day, it depends on your budget, what you're comfortable with. Typically, we start at $35 a day for those with smaller budgets, like $500 to $1,000 a day, a month, right? $35 a day will put you right around $1,000 a month. And if you can spend more, then that's great. But typically $35 per product per day. So if you want to go out and test out 10 products, it's going to be $350 per day for all 10 products. Okay. Typically $35 is a good test budget to find out if the product is actually winning on Facebook and if the product is actually working, and that's essentially what we do. Okay, what's a good starting budget? Okay, a good starting budget, typically, like I mentioned, depends on your comfortability level. If you want to go $35 a day, if you want to go for $100 a day, but like I mentioned, about $35 a day per product. If you have a budget of $100 a day, that's roughly around $3,000 a month. So meaning that you can test out maybe up to 2 products per day, 2 to 3 products per day. Okay, how fast do you find winners? Okay, typically within 4 to 7 days. Once we find those winners within 4 to 7 days, we can see exactly what's going on Facebook, right? 4 to 7 days is enough data, but typically you want to go even more. Once you have your winners, you want to go even further and keep building those pixels within 2 weeks. Once you start building those pixels, you can start scaling your ads. How to find the winners is basically find out what's working on the ad sets, what's working on the actual Facebook ads, and seeing if it actually generates any sales and results, add to carts, any initiate checkouts, and things like that. Alright, so how would you scale? Okay, so scaling works in many ways. Okay, essentially in this video that I showed you, I've shown you how to scale using budgets. You can scale different ways. You can scale by using demographics, you can scale by using manual bids, but of course that's all another video I'll show you. But essentially the easiest way to scale is just to scale out your budgets. Go from $7 days to duplicating your ads, doing a $10, $20, $50, $30, $100 per day ad budget on those interests, and just test them out. Keep testing out those interests. Okay, next question. Do you use video or images? Very good question. We actually use both, okay? So typically what we do is we start with either a video or an image, and if that product or that image works, we're going to go to another medium. We're going to go, for example, if we start with image, we're going to go to video. We're going to test out video, and if video works and it works really good, we scale it out. But first we find out if video or image works first. And of course at a smaller budget, $35 per day, you don't want to go out and spend lots of money and test different things, because you're still going to be spending money on that, right? So you want to go and test out specific things that are going to work for you, basically specific ads. So for example, if you're doing images, go with images. Test out the images, because if you know the product is working, you know it's going to make you sales, and it does make you sales eventually, then you go and you create a video on it, and you test that out and see which ROI is performing better. Typically, I've seen ROI both in great videos and images, but if you test out videos, typically videos work a lot better in terms of ROI. But like I said, it all depends on the product. It all depends on the interest. Okay, so go out there and test out. All right, so those are the questions that we have today. If you have any other questions, feel free to email us, teo@socialstinger.com. Email me directly, and then email me your questions and request these videos, and I'd be glad to create these videos for you. Thanks so much.